Produced by Harry King, directed by Harry King, and starring, of course, yours truly, Harry King. Boy, do we have a show for you this morning. We have scooped all of the news media as usual, and we have with us this morning the three wise men, the Magi themselves. They stopped by on their way home from a visit to a little town called Bethlehem. Gentlemen, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview.
Glad to do it.
No problem. We like being around kings.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not really a king. Although, now that you mention it, I am the king of interviewers.
Whatever. I'm just glad to get off that camel for a while.
Melchior, you know we don't ride camels.
Melchior wouldn't know a camel from a donkey.
Would you? Saw one once. Smelly creatures.
Camels?
No, donkeys. And stubborn. Almost as stubborn as Casper there.
So you didn't ride on camels?
No, that's just tradition.
Huh, I didn't know that. Well, what did you ride?
Elephants.
Melchior.
Okay, just a joke. Can't you guys take a joke?
Sure, if we ever hear one.
Don't know what we rode, Mr. King. The text there, Matthew 2, 1 through 12, doesn't say. Maybe we rode horses. Maybe we walked. We can't add to the script. And just for the record, there are 3 of us here, but the script doesn't even say how many of us there were. In some traditions, there are as many as 12 of us. But most think there are 3 because there are 3 gifts.
But you are kings, right?
Sorry, that's a big no too.
Yep. More like tradition. But we really like that hymn. We 3 kings gotta catch and beat. Kind of like riding on a camel, you know. Anyway, we could have been a king, you know. Back on my mother's side, I'm descended from kings.
You don't even know who your parents are. They left you on the doorsteps of a winemaker in Tarsus.
So, I could have been from royal lineage. You never know.
But you call yourselves after kings. Balthazar, Melchior, and Caspar, right?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm Calvin, that's Clyde, and over there's Chester.
Mr. King, please excuse him. Actually, no one knows our names. Tradition gives us those names. We are nameless. We don't mind, really. We prefer it that way. What's important isn't who we are, but who he was.
Who was?
Jesus, the Christ child, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, that's who.
Yeah, but for now, you can call us Casper, Balthazar, and Melchior. Those are as good as any other names.
So you are Gentiles, though.
Well, I'm a pretty gentle guy, and old Balthazar over there is pretty harmless.
Not gentle, Gentiles. You know, non-Jewish people.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Pagans?
Nope.
Heathens?
Hey, we aren't heathens. Aren't those goat herders from Samaria?
Please forgive our friend here. We don't...
Don't tell me that's just another tradition too, right?
That's right. We could have been Jews, descendants from those who stayed in ancient Babylonia rather than going back home. Well, that was a long time ago. And this would explain why we knew to look for a newborn king among the Jews. For we were familiar with the traditions of our ancestors, especially about the hope for a Messiah.
But we could have been Gentiles. If so, then the gospel writer was trying to show that we were the first of many people from many nations who would come to this newborn king and find God in him.
Anyway, Gentile or Jew, we went seeking the newborn king of the Jews. He's a very special king, you know.
Yes, and unlike any other king before or after him.
And his kingdom will never end.
So you are Magi, but what really is a Magi anyway?
Magi is from a Greek word majoi. Your word magician comes from it. It can mean wise men.
We prefer wise guys, by the way. I know some magic tricks. Learned them in Egypt. You want to see one?
Yes, can you make yourself disappear?
If you two are finished, there were different kinds of magi. One kind gave us a bad name. They were soothsayers, charlatans. Pay them a fee, and they would tell you your future and other such things.
But other magi, us, for example, are learned scholars and teachers. We study the heavens. We study everything. We seek truth.
Yes, we are truth seekers.
And we were often advisors to kings because of our wisdom and learning.
And some of us are related to kings. Maybe.
So, you followed this star, this light in the sky. What was that? I mean, don't tell me that's tradition too.
No, that was real. I believe it was a rare conjunction of Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. It happens only every 794 years.
Nah, it was a comet.
You guys, I'm pretty sure it was a UFO.
No.
Just kidding. These guys are wrong. It's Sirius, the dog star, where it was burning especially bright that year. Brighter than I have ever seen it, and it started in the Egyptian month of Azori, which means prince. So that we had more evidence that a great prince or king was being born.
Well, we don't know what it was, really. All we know is that we took it to mean that something great was taking place on Earth. You see, we believe that when something extraordinary happens in the heavens, it means something extraordinary is happening on Earth.
Very interesting. So, like the birth of a great king, for instance.
Right.
Huh. So you followed this bright object up in the sky, and you came to King Herod's palace in Jerusalem?
Yes, magi are usually welcomed by kings.
But Herod was a strange man.
Strange and dangerous.
Mad! Crazed, if you ask me.
He knew nothing about the newborn king.
And he didn't seem at all that thrilled to hear us talk about it.
Yeah, I thought we were going to end up in this dungeon.
Or worse. We didn't trust him at all.
You are wise.
Well, they don't call us wise guys for nothing.
As I was saying, you are wise because Herod was indeed a violent man. He killed several of his sons who he thought were plotting against him. Maybe even killed his own wife. He would not have welcomed your quest.
So we discovered later.
Anyway, Herod knew nothing of this king. But his wise men, his advisors, knew of an ancient prophecy about the king, the Messiah, to be born in Bethlehem.
We had never heard of it. Bethlehem. Didn't sound like much of a place for a king to be born.
But it was. Israel's greatest king, you know, had been born there centuries before. Melchior, I told you not to fall asleep during these world history lessons.
The king was David.
But the king we sought, born in David's lineage, would be even greater.
You mean Jesus.
Yes.
So you left King Herod.
He wished us well and told us that if we did find the king, to send word that he too might come and worship him.
Yeah, right.
We didn't trust him. We told him only what we had to and then went on our way. We followed the light to Bethlehem.
And you actually found the Christ child?
Yes, he was with his family. They were living in a small rented house on the outskirts of the village. I think Joseph did some stone or carpentry work for the owner of the house to pay the rent. The man, Joseph, and the woman, Mary, they named their child Jesus, for Joseph said he had a dream in which he was told to name the child that. I believe it means God saves.
We shall never forget that night, the first glimpse of the child. There was really something about him.
Casper's right. There was something about this child. There was a brightness about him. A great sense of peace came into my heart as I held him in my arms. What an honor. I can still feel that peace now. Still feel him in my arms.
I held him too. It felt like I was holding love in my arms. The very love of God. Until they had to change his diaper. Just kidding. The kid was special, no doubt about that.
And so, then you presented him with your gifts?
I gave him gold, the king of metals, a gift fit for a king.
And I gave him frankincense, a sweet offering used in worship, a gift fit for a priest.
Myrrh! Why did I have to carry the myrrh? It was smelly. Did you see his little nose wrinkle up? I told you I should have given him a puppy.
It was a great honor, Melchior. Myrrh is a perfume, expensive, and a gift fit to anoint a savior.
So then you left, but you didn't go back to Herod, is that right?
Yes, Melchior had a dream.
Nah, it was more like a nightmare. I think I ate some bad goat cheese the night before.
The dream was a warning not to go back to Herod because he wanted to kill the child. So we started back home another way. Later on, we found out that Joseph also had a similar dream and left with his family, taking them to Egypt, I believe. We were relieved to hear that since Herod did send his army to Bethlehem, and well,
Yes, a terrible thing happened to some poor children there. Herod was a paranoid and cruel man.
Oh, not too long after this he died, and Joseph was able to bring his family home.
And where was their home?
Nazareth.
We'd like to go there someday and see how they are.
Well, if we do, someone else is taking the myrrh this time, and I insist on riding a camel or donkey next time. Man, my feet are killing.
Well, our time is just about up here. I want to thank you so much for this illuminating interview. It has been another exciting and spectacular show on Harry King Live, starring yours truly, Harry King.
Our pleasure. By the way, we're looking for an agent, you know. There might be a book deal or even a movie in this for us. We can even sing, you know, so maybe a record deal is in the works. Know any agents?
Yeah, I'll look into that. Well, what words of wisdom might you wise men, I mean you wise guys, impart to us before you leave?
Seek the real king this new year. He's well worth the journey.
And bring him your very best gifts you have, even your own heart.
If you do, you'll be one of us. One of the wise guys, too. And now, we do have a magic trick for you.
Yes, we will disappear, vanish into the shadows of history.
But you can read about us anytime you like. Just don't spend too much time wondering about who we were or getting lost in traditions.
Instead, know that the one we sought and found is also here for you.
Seek him with all your heart.
And
Don't be surprised when you discover that he's been seeking you all along.
Well, we'll keep that in mind now, won't we? Tune in next time when I'll be interviewing a maid named Miriam, a servant girl in Herod's palace. She's written a book, Herod the Horrible. And we'll be here to give us the inside scoop on what Herod was really like. We're also negotiating for an interview with a strange man living in the wilderness of Judea who's been baptizing people in the Jordan River. What the heck is that all about? Well, join us and we'll find out together. Well, that's a wrap. Good day here from Harry King Live, starring yours truly, Harry King. Will you join me as together we state our unison invitation to discipleship? Let's pray together. Eagerly we seek your light in our lives, O Lord. Come to us, your children, as we welcome your arrival. May the ministries made possible through this offering bring hope to the dark world. Amen.